Hey there. Welcome back to Chip Chatter and Chill. It's the weekly millennials fun escape from adulting and all the sociological experiences that we are dealing with. And here today, we're going to continue on from part one with our top 20 of 2020. And tonight, without Desmond, but we do have our other co host online, our other closet comedian, father, host, musician, good friend, educator, Mr. Depton Williams.
What's up, y'all?
Everybody good?
Yep.
All right. So last evening we covered so much. We covered the top of 2020, how things were like starting to set the tone of the year. Everything was great. Came off of 2019. Everybody had high hopes. Everybody's in a good mood. Everybody's moving to the beat of their own drum. And then all of a sudden, we lose Kobe Bryant and Gianna Bryant. And then there's whispers about COVID-19, but we're not, sure here and there as we get bits and pieces of information for different parts of the world
hmm
until they finally shut the world down in March. So, what's happening now is we're going to move into the highlights, which were the best and worst parts of 2020. There's a lot to cover, but these are just poignant parts of 2020 that we're taking with us, and we want to make sure that those indelible marks that were left in our history are passed on and just given the emphasis and the importance that it deserves. So, I know for me, a lot of 2020, the overall theme, because there was a lot of heavy stuff that happened. We can all agree on that. However, there were some great takeaways that I'm definitely taking with me into 2021. Being self sufficient, learning through growing pains, unlearning through growing pains as well, self care, family first. All the outside distractions are unnecessary or secondary. Going after what you want and going with full pursuit, the pursuit of happiness and joy, and just being back in the core of what you've always wanted and bringing that to the forefront and just giving it your 100% potential. What you think, that the
I agree. Um, Definitely been a lot learned this year. A lot of hurt, a lot of uh, discoveries of self.
mm-hmm.
Um, Learning how to live with this virus or this while we're in this pandemic. I actually lost somebody that introduced me into the world of corporate entertainment.
Mm,
And I had been with him since 2012, and he died at the top of the year. Um, and it was just out of nowhere. He fell, and he never recovered. He was an older man, and he's the founder of the company that I work for in corporate entertainment. And yeah, he was with his granddaughter one weekend, and he fell, and I think he hit his head. I'm not sure exactly what happened when he fell, but he fell. And like I said, that happened on a Friday, and by Monday he was gone. Just completely unexpected. Like nobody knew what to do in that moment. Of course, you never know what to do when somebody dies unless you're standing there preparing for them to die. So that was one of the harder things that I've experienced this year. Learning to be with family more, which I feel like was a good thing because we're always on the run. We're always moving. We're always up and out and about and
yeah,
just doing life.
yeah,
And this time being home, I think has helped. I know for me, being with my family has been the best for me. Like I realize how much I need to be around my family, my immediate family, meaning my kids and their mom, and
mm,
um, just learning how to live again through this pandemic and being extremely cautious about going out and being amongst people
yeah,
and trying not to uh, contract the virus from anybody else. Like we don't do any. large gatherings. We're always around family. If we do go anywhere, it's just us in our space and things like that. But we're very cautious. We come home, we wash our hands. Like, I don't know another family that wash their hands more than us right now. Wash our hands, we do our steam, we make sure that we're clear every single day. And that's become the norm over these last, what's that, start in March?
Yeah.
About 10 months? Yeah. So learning to live through this has been a lot. Um, what else? Oh, yeah, that's the majority of the learning. It's just in this whole new life experience for everybody, losing so many people and jobs shutting down, businesses shutting down, not knowing if we're gonna see each other tomorrow, things like that. Just it's been
Yeah.
a lot more praying because you don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring. But like the Bible says, we just live for today and let tomorrow worry about itself. Um, so yeah.
Life is never going to be what it was before. And you know what? I'm not even upset about it. I'm not upset about it not being what normal used to mean for me or my family. Being in quarantine, I agree, has definitely made family the utmost importance. Learning them, loving on them, nurturing them, developing new systems and ideas, and just cultivating new ways to just implement legacy, the things that matter the most or should matter the most to the kids, and just learning their personalities. I know for sure if the world were a different place in 2020 and it didn't go the way it went this year, there were so many milestones and epic moments and small bursts of growth and things of that nature that I would have probably missed had we just kept doing what we were doing before, just hustling, busting, going from A to B, and then jumping over to J, K, and L with the speed of light, and not even taking the time to really just take in your family like we have for so long. You take people for granted because it's like, oh, they're there, they'll be there, they'll be when I get home, or I can call them
Right.
later, put things off until later, and then later never comes. That was one thing I definitely taught Junior this year. There is no such thing as later. If you have it to do now, do it now. If you have
Mhm.
love, I love you to say it now. If you have a task to finish, start it and complete it. Get it done now. Later does not exist. That's been an overall theme, especially with him going back to school. So just making sure my family has my attention. I'm my best version of myself for them and for myself. Starting this business, starting the podcast, going full steam ahead with things that I'm very passionate about, supporting my family and their dreams and their vision and aspirations, and being a support and an uplift to them and giving my input. Praying is something I do several times a day. And I have begun to really manifest the things that I have been praying for. So I know God is real. If I didn't know before, I used to have very vivid, very lucid, and very like foretelling dreams when I was a kid. So some things I would be like real sensitive to, and I would have dreams, and then they would happen later, would freak me out. But I'm more and more in tune with things of, you know, in the spirit. So when I pray, I mean that thing, and I'm very specific. So that is definitely something I can agree also with, that my prayer life is like it's up. So with all of that said, with everything being like it is, you have to wash your hands, you can't touch this, you can't breathe the air, you got to wear a mask everywhere you go, you got to social distance, you want 6 feet apart from
You
everybody.
should be wearing a mask everywhere you go. We know that a lot of us are not doing it.
Yeah. So going into that, the sightings of people actually like doing things that are derogatory and offensive and unsafe, like breathing on people intentionally with intent to get them sick, or spitting on them,
Hmm.
altercations. I mean, what is wrong with people? I know that there's a definite fault in humanity that exists, but it's like common sense is a lost art. Why would you? I saw a grown person sneeze in an infant's face.
That's
I almost
ridiculous.
lost it. Had I been there in person, I could only imagine. You're a grown person. People are dying every day by the hundreds of
every day.
thousands. And you're
Right.
spitting in this brand new child's face. So things like that. It's like, how could you not? Even when I've gone out supermarket shopping, this lady at just outright, oh, I can't wear my mask. Why? Because you have makeup on. Because she didn't look like she was the least bit of sick or ill or impaired or handicapped in any type of way. She looked like she was very
Mhm.
much in her right mind, very well dressed. So I can't wear my mask. Oh, okay. Well, you can get away from me because I do
Right.
it. I want to live
Yeah, I
and
don't play
tell
that.
the story after
Mm.
2020. I
And
don't play.
what I don't understand about this country is you look at different countries that are actually shutting down,
Yeah.
like completely shutting down, and they shut down for 3 months, and then no cases nowhere, and we
Yeah.
sitting here just opening stuff just
Yep.
because we are so used to being outside. Everybody just going back out, just doing whatever, just intermingling with whoever. I see
Yep.
so many parties, so many concerts, and people just doing just back to normal like nothing.
Yeah.
And even if you don't fully believe that COVID is taking all these people, it's taken a good amount.
This is a very
It's
hefty amount.
taken a good amount. And I know people that have lost family members to COVID, and I've known people that have I know people that have contracted the virus, and
Yeah.
yes, they've survived, but they still had the virus. So there's some truth to it somewhere.
Yep.
Like it ain't made up. I don't
That's not the
understand.
fallacy.
I don't understand why we don't just shut down.
For the countries that had, I mean, hundreds of cases over the span of these several months, just in the hundreds,
Hmm.
those countries. And then Canada, their payout, they took care of their people. I laugh at us being quote unquote the wealthiest country in the world. We're the stingiest, most selfish country in the world, actually. Most stiflingest
It's
people I've ever
ridiculous.
seen in leadership in my entire life. So it's like that the safety of humankind is not, it's not important. It's just like, oh well. It's this inherited mindset of not I'm invincible or I'm exempt, but I'm above it or something. I just can't explain it. It's just I don't get the mindset. I'm not with it. I've never thought that way because even if I didn't have, I was asymptomatic. That would make me even more conscious of okay, when I go out, I need to have my mask because God forbid if I get anyone else sick unto death, I wouldn't be able to live with that thought that it was my fault because I simply did not wear a mask or I did not wash my hands or I was too close to someone. I went to one party and it was just too many people, more than 6 to 8 people, and I no, it's just you can't be selfish. This is not the time to be selfish and to just me what I want. It's the for the greater good of everybody. We could
Yeah,
get the numbers
especially
down. The curve can go down if you just do what you're supposed to do. That
right.
stuff. Remember spring break? That's what I was gonna cover. March, April-ish. Them college kids when they went on spring break.
Yeah, just wilding.
Are you kidding me? The strip clubs was hot. The beaches was hot. I'm like, yeah, okay.
And I don't get parents. Like you got to come home to your kids. So you're gonna put your kids at risk so you can go and have a good time.
So
How much
selfish.
sense does that ever make?
So selfish. You're not
You
gonna
got
have a nice year.
kids.
Yeah.
I want to live and I want to be old. I want to live to see old age. So
Mhm.
take no chances. I'm around my family. That's it.
I'm on a mission to just live and tell the story beyond 2021. So
Hmm.
I'm with you. I'm going to continue to do what we've been obligated to do to just stay alive and healthy. Now, with some of the best highlights of 2020, actually, it was very challenging. Don't get me wrong; it didn't come without any challenges. But
Hmm.
virtual learning, I'm with it. Overall,
What?
number one, listen, I can see my kid. I know their assignments. I know their educators. The communication is coming in, although it's very lengthy and hefty. I mean, I'm pretty sure they get as many emails as I do in a day, probably maybe even more, just because they have to stay on top of it and be in communication. And it was new for everybody. This was just a trial run because we've never been through anything like this before. So
Hmm.
this was a forced situation where parents had to become educators, lunch people, the school nurse, the tutor, the after school program, all of that, and the
People.
the PE referee, the PE coach, and all that stuff. So it was tedious. It
Hmm.
was a handful,
Hmm.
but honestly, I'm looking forward to January now that we've gotten through that. And the first half, when it first happened in March, was actually way better than the first semester of third grade. If I be really
Yeah.
honest, I
Yeah.
think it had a lot to do with his teacher. His teacher was amazing, and everything I would hear about her going into second grade last year, no one had nothing bad to say. Everybody's excited. I even got to meet some of her past students that came to say, "Hey, it's Miss So and So." So I think
Mhm.
his his new teacher, he'll have a new one in next week because she was starting to go, or she was preparing for early retirement.
Mhm.
A lot of her organization skills went out the window. It was just like she didn't care. I'm leaving anyway. If I leave a wrong date on an assignment, or if I put a wrong assignment in an incorrect place and it's not consistent like they're used to, I don't care. Because there was several times I had to email her and say, listen, they're not used to, navigating this on a daily basis like an adult goes to, corporate America and work on a computer. If you're going to use Zoom, use Zoom. Don't use Zoom for the first half of the day and then use big blue button at the end of the day and then put it in a ridiculous place where it's hard to find. It was those type of inconsistencies that made it a challenge. But I'm here for the virtual learning experience. What about you?
Yeah. I like when it first started, it was cool. I just feel like they weren't sure about how they were gonna continue with it because I don't think anybody was prepared for this to last all this time.
We thought it was temporary. Yeah.
Right. Like when I first like I work at a school and I'm working from home, but when we first started talking about this whole pandemic thing, everybody was thinking it was going to be a week, then 3 weeks, then a month at the most, and then Trump was saying by Easter it was going to go down, and I didn't believe that when he said that because
Not
whatever,
yeah.
because he is who he is. But um, now we're here, all the way at the end of the year, with something that we were not expecting to last this long, and we've made it this far. That so the virtual learning, one thing I know with my kids, they get comfortable, and my son just got a desk. We just He just got a desk, and it was to stop him from sitting in his bed. 'Cause, sitting in your bed, you get comfortable. You want to lay down because it's your bed. Even the couch, you're because you're at home and you're comfortable. You're gonna get even more comfortable. So that's been one challenge for us, as far as them trying to um, realize that they're still in school from the time it starts until the time it ends, and keeping them focused because I have older kids. One is 12 and one is 9, and they like taking breaks. And they feel like because they're at home, they can take breaks whenever they get ready. And we have to let them know that you can't do that. You're still in school. You're on a computer, but you're still in school. You have to still be in front of the camera and still be paying attention for your work because if you're not sitting in front of your computer, that means somebody has to be sitting there and it falls on us to have to
Right.
figure out what they have to do. And yeah, I have to correct that a lot. But I mean, they've gotten better, and I'm definitely here for the virtual learning. I feel safe, more safe because we're in the house every day. And we've been getting, like from my son's school, from both their schools, we've been getting emails about this student has contracted the virus, or this someone in the school has contracted the virus, but they always say it's one person. And it's always weird to me, like how could it only be one person and that person didn't come in contact with nobody?
Exactly.
You're in a school all day long, and you mean to tell me that they found out that you had it and immediately like pulled you out the school? No, they didn't do that. They didn't do that. It's more to it than that, and I don't like that part of it which is why I'm glad that the kids are home. So
Yep.
we don't even have to worry about that part. And we're going to stay that way until we know that this virus is out of here.
Yep.
Like until we know for sure that this virus is out of here. And then I got issues with the vaccine. Now they had this vaccine. We've been trying to get a vaccine for AIDS and cancer and all these other things. And you mean to tell me that over in this one or these 10 months you've come up with a vaccine that quick?
I will be no one's. My family will be no one's guinea pig at
No
no
way.
moment. I commend the mayor. I think it's the mayor of Jamaica. That man,
Hmm.
okay, he said exactly what I was thinking and how I feel. Let the other big countries or the other people let it go through a test trial because you have to figure out if it works or not. Yeah, nay. Now
Right.
I'm not going to be the guinea pig. What's the rush? No. First of all, when the report first came out, and they were talking about the vaccine and they were trying to, do research and this, that, and fifth. They're trying to figure out what it's resistant to and this, that, and the fifth and how it travels and how you can track. They were saying when they were going to introduce it or start, testing it, it would not be ready until summer 2021, August, September 2021.
Hmm.
It's December 2020. You're not sticking me with anything. That is fresh off the lab table out of somebody's beaker. It's not ready. It's not mature. It's not proven to be effective. You don't have hundreds of millions that you've done, a trial through and shown me your success with it. This virus was just introduced to us a year ago. No,
Listen,
you
listen,
can miss me with it. I'm good. I haven't
listen.
even taken the flu vaccine, and no one's gonna make me feel sorry for it. I'm against it. First of
I
all,
was just about to bring that up. I just
it's
took the
just
flu vaccine for the first time in my life.
yeah.
I just did it this year, maybe a month ago.
I
I,
couldn't. I felt like I get sick like maybe once a year. If before I started having the girls, I would get sick once every 2 to 3 years. I think I had it once in high school and then once in college. I've never had it again. That's over 15 years ago. So for me, it's like I'm not gonna get something that's concentrated on one type of virus that I'm not necessarily at risk for. My immune system is pretty much strong, and I'm not saying that to be big headed, but I do have a pretty strong immune system. Because you know how like smaller kids they share germs so easily, they
mhm.
get adults sicker. I've never been that person. The kids have never gotten me sick. No one's kids have ever gotten me sick. I could be around them, pick them up, whatever, hand them medicine. I've never gotten them that easily. So I know I have a very distinct immune system that's able to, resist certain things. I knew older patients that have gotten this consistently, middle-aged people that have gotten it consistently, and almost immediately after they would get it, they would get oh so sick. They did not feel well. They felt like, oh my goodness, their body felt awful. So if I know it has that type of effect, I'm like, oh no, I'm good. The flu vaccine, it works for some, it doesn't work for others. How about shingles? You can still get shingles even if you've A had chicken pox in your childhood, or B, if you're a certain age bracket, if you've gotten the chickenpox vaccine, you can still get shingles in your 50s and 60s. So the way that the medical industry works in America is just, you just never know what you're going to get with these vaccines. You can get a learning or physical disability if you play around with certain vaccines. It's just, you just never know. So I just chose not to be anyone's guinea pig with this COVID vaccine. I want to run back to the virtual learning piece.
Mhm.
Shout out to Miss Edith Pride. Did you hear about the viral teacher from Palm Beach County, Florida? When she went live it was like a town hall meeting or a PTA meeting. She
Mhm.
was complaining about the teachers and the students going virtual. Some of them, she said the kids ain't dressed. They still in their pajamas. The parents coming on with blunts and cigarettes in their hands, smoking loose.
Did you see the video with
Baby,
the lady? Did you see
shout
the
out to
video
Miss
with the?
Edith Pride. She made my day, baby.
Did you see the mother that was naked?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my
How
God.
you missing a whole, school hours. School hours. I
You
don't
had to
care if
know
you
that your
home.
child was sick, but I heard that lady had gotten written up because that wasn't the first time, or that wasn't the last time that she did that.
She was
But
a parent or a
you had to
student?
you walk dead in front of your child. You know they're on the computer. You walk dead in front of the kid.
You know what's
Like,
happening. You dead
you
wrong.
need it, ma'am. You need an OnlyFans
You
and
can't.
keep it moving.
You couldn't put on
Cause
that one bra, t-shirt,
nothing. She
a
ain't put
pair of
nothing on.
drawers. Your child is in class and you just run past you ought to be shamed. You don't get a pass for that one on me. I'm sorry.
Mm-mm.
You don't.
And she didn't
I'll kick
run.
y'all home.
She was standing there for the world to see her. That was her 15 minutes.
She wanted to go viral.
Right.
That's another thing. That's got to change in 2021. Educators, y'all don't get paid enough. Y'all get underpaid and underappreciated. And that was one thing I could definitely say. I appreciate you guys more than you have ever been deserving of, if not this year, for the rest of my life. Because the things that I have had to help you guys with and submit myself to and give my input and insight on, I'm like, the curriculum. I'm like, this is third grade. This isn't seventh and eighth in high school. This is third grade. They want to jam pack how much in what in 9 months? What? So with virtual learning being as big as it has been, we call it a success here. Others may call it a failure. The COVID vaccine, we're going to pass on that until we can find it a surefire way to keep our family safe from the COVID-19 virus. The virtual world has opened up to virtual weddings, virtual baby showers, virtual
Virtual life.
graduations, and my goodness, I went to a few celebratory events and I had some of my own. I had some celebratory Zoom birthday parties that were actually a lot more fun than I thought they would be for the kids. It just made them feel closer to the family members and vice versa. They were able to see them, give them their wishes, see them all nice dressed up and see them smiling faces and give them their love. So I like those parts. Those are the highlights of 2020, the virtual world that I appreciate. Did you attend any virtual events?
Church. Birthday parties.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. I haven't done anything past that. My kids, on their birthdays, we had the signs on the lawn and people
Yeah.
drove by, like the
Yeah.
drive up birthdays. We did
Mm-hmm.
that. If we have anything, it's around family. My mom and dad and siblings are all in New York, so
Yeah.
I can only see them on FaceTime or whatever. But yeah, that's the gist of the virtual stuff that I've done. I actually played. I did a virtual concert that I played
You
for
did?
with this band. Yeah, I did that
Okay.
back in was it the beginning of November? Something like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Have you had your hand at any of, say, like any cooking challenges? Did you find yourself in the kitchen more often than not? Did you try anything new? Did you have any epic fails? Like, what was your cooking experience for
I
2020
actually
quarantine?
I've for Jazz's birthday, I did a meal on my own that I found on Tasty. I don't know if you follow them on Facebook, but I found a recipe that was pretty good and I did it on my own and I was kind of surprised at myself and happy. And I just recently started making steaks on the grill.
I know.
Like
I
I
heard
never
you was
cooked.
nice with the steaks and stuff. I need to get on that.
Yeah, been figuring some stuff out and cooking with Jasmine and
What's your
figuring that
favorite
whole.
cut of steak?
Well, we've been doing prime rib, and last week we did a Angus prime rib, which was a thicker cut.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I seasoned it like the first time I seasoned a steak. I was following this guy that I found on YouTube. I was just looking through trying to figure out how to do the seasoning and all that stuff because I'd never made a steak in my life. So um, I followed his recipe the first time. Second time, I just tried to go for it on my own. Third
Yeah.
time, I did it like I seasoned the steak maybe 3 hours before I put it on the grill.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and this last time, oh man, these last two times have been the best. I think I've made five steaks. So that's
Okay.
my thing right now. Steaks, I got it down now.
That's what's up.
Got my hand in it.
You might have to do a struggle meal real quick for the people.
A
That's
struggle meal?
mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And see, the art behind a struggle meal, we grew up on struggle meals, but the struggle meal it don't taste horrible. What makes it a struggle meal is you don't have all the stereotypical traditional ingredients that the standard recipe calls for. You just
Right.
have what you have, and it still come out bomb. And the
Hmm.
presentation is just all on you. So if you want to do one, I'm down.
Okay. We got some ramen noodles in the pantry.
Come
That's
on.
always a
Yep.
good struggle meal. But
Yep.
we figured out a
Old
way to
faithful.
make that thing taste great.
Shout out to ramen. You know ramen is old faithful.
Ramen, and then it's another name. What's it? I can't remember the other name, but it comes in a black carton. It's the same noodles, but it come in a black carton and it got a red top. I
And
think it
so
starts with an M. I'm tempted to get up and go and grab one just so I can get the name.
Marushan.
Yes. Here's another thing we do. If you go to Dollar Tree, they sell beef patties.
Yes, they do. Yes, sir.
Listen, I get the beef
Yes.
patty, put it in the microwave for a minute and a half, and
Yeah.
then I cut that thing in half, grab a slice of
Come
cheese
on. Tease
and a
the
slice of
people.
turkey and
Tease
a
the
slice of
what?
deli turkey.
What? Okay. Okay. I got
Oh
that one. Now,
man.
you have to try. Do you like guacamole?
Uh,
Oh, you taking too
how you
long.
make guacamole? Out of avocados?
Yes.
Yes.
We was about to have a whole nother conversation that no,
No,
get into.
Jasmine put me on that. You put me
Slap
on.
some guacamole on a beef patty.
We've been putting it on turkey burgers
Yes.
with
Yes.
an egg,
You said with an egg.
with a fried egg.
Hmm.
No bread. You don't need no
I've
bread
done it.
either.
I do bunless a lot more often now. I put it like on a nice piece of lettuce, or I'll just do it naked with some cheese and some. I
Yeah,
have
I
to do
gotta
it.
stop. I gotta stop not eating bread because I've lost a lot of weight. Like almost scary.
Yeah,
'Cause I need my bread. But
I'm
yeah.
going. I'm going back into my complex carbs beginning at the top of the year because I've been eating too many of the white starches. Yeah, they're not my
Hmm.
friend. So that's been good. Yeah, I've definitely done a couple at home struggle meals with the ramens, with some hot dogs, some shrimp, you name it. I've made stuff spicy. You wouldn't think. Yeah, we've done a couple of different recipes, especially with the kids, because they love doing stuff. Especially Junior, he's curious about working his way around the kitchen and learning some things. So we've had a couple fun trials run. I'm actually thinking about doing pizzas with them. I want to take the frozen garlic breads you get from the grocery store. I
Hmm.
may buy one or two, a bag of pepperoni, and some mozzarella, and make remember the French pizza breads you used to get from Stouffer's in the freezer section. We're gonna do that.
Yes.
And then I could put some bacon on there, bacon and pepperoni, and some mozzarella cheese. I think I'm gonna do that. They'll love that.
Hmm.
They'll love that.
Sounds good.
So we've gone through. Man, we had one long black hot summer like we did in 2012 with all these lives that we lost. Black Lives Matter. We had to come together and show each other some love and support and bridge the gap between the generations and just say, this is time for some long lasting change. It's going to take for us to, make our voices stick. You know how you pin comments at the top? We have to pin our comments at the top when it comes to being mainstream and being heard. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Shasia Washington, you name it. I mean, by the time this episode airs, there's another 5 or 6 that'll probably be hashtagged as well. So that was a somber part of the year. It wasn't the best. It was definitely one of the worst times of the year, but the highlight, even we have a segment here we call it the gag is. The gag is we're still effective in our fight for change.
Hmm.
What was your experience with the Black Lives Matter movement and just seeing how the trajectory of 2020 changed with all of the police brutality and the thick of it? How was that for you?
I think I got to a point where it was overwhelming
Yeah.
and heartbreaking, heart wrenching, and uh, a lot of sadness behind stuff that we shouldn't even still be fighting for.
Hmm.
Like it's 2020 and we still haven't gotten over that hump.
Mm-hmm.
Still haven't. Like that it's overwhelming to still see that that's going on. And what's crazy is the thing is this stuff has been going on and it has not been televised as much as it has been lately.
That's it. Yeah.
And to continuously see it, it's like you almost don't want to turn the TV on
Mm-hmm.
because it's a lot to watch people get murdered, just straight up murdered
Yeah.
for nothing.
Yeah.
For nothing. Even the guy that ran, like, as everybody says, and as it will always be said, if it was a white person, they
Mm-hmm.
would have let them run and all of that. Like,
Yeah.
nobody deserves that. Not no white person, black,
No.
yellow, green, nothing. Nobody deserves to be gunned down or murdered just straight off. You just feel like murdering, like you just want to murder somebody. Why? How are you just that heartless?
Yeah.
Like, what do you care about? Like,
Yeah.
another person's life is worth living. Like, how do you just take that into your own hands and just decide to end
Mm-hmm.
their life?
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Yeah.
people you don't even know. Even if you did know them, like nobody deserves to be gunned down or, like I said, murdered just because. Like, they do it for fun.
Yeah.
That's how it comes off to me.
It's like a
Like,
sport. Yeah.
it's a sport, yeah. Like hunting. That's
I
the
have.
whole movement. Like, I would have liked to get out to some of the protests, but at the same time, you're still dealing with being around a bunch of people. And although you want to go and stand for this cause, you still have to be cautious about your well-being. Like, I would love to have had my kids down at some of the protests. At the same time, I don't want to put my kids in danger because a lot of that has turned into that, where you don't know if these people gonna come and bum rush the whole situation or whatever. And now
Yeah.
your kids, and then you find yourself in a place where your kids are getting lost. Like, it's like when you go to an amusement park and your kids are so happy jumping around, jumping around, jumping around, then you turn around and you don't see them.
It takes just a couple seconds. Yeah.
It takes a second
And your life freezes for them long seconds.
and you're
Just
losing your
out loud.
mind.
Yeah.
You're going crazy and all of that. Like, that's been a fear, like, as far as going to the protest. So I don't think we've even discussed even trying to go because of, first of all, like I said, the whole pandemic thing, like, that's still a huge crowd of people. And if you're already nervous about being around people, being around, you know that this is going to be a big crowd.
That's
You
gonna give
know
you
it
a
before
lot
you
of.
leave the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Did you see
yeah,
what I think it was two or three of the college students when they were down by Centennial that one night in the summer and they got pulled out of their cars by the SWAT
yanked out their
team.
cars. Yeah.
My heart broke. I'm like, really? Come on. Why would you treat them like that? Like they were puppies. What? No.
Hmm.
I mean, snatched him out his car. They didn't do anything.
And
Well,
hadn't
just
done
one of them.
anything
None of that warranted the treatment and the reaction that they got. It didn't.
at
That was
all.
out of line. That is not what you do as an officer of the law to protect and serve. You were definitely not doing either of the two by executing that much force on a child. They're 19, 20, 21. They're young adults, but they're still like, they're children. Like, come on now.
Right.
So
Right.
that part of it was definitely
Then it
traumatizing.
makes you mad. It's like when you go to the movies and watch something like, so to watch stuff like that, it makes you hate cops. And you feel like all cops are, I mean, we know that not all cops are bad, but it just automatically, just seeing that, you just look at a cop or you see a cop in the next moment and it's automatic hate or automatic nervousness.
You
Just
absolutely,
like,
yeah.
just like
I
for a
was,
black man, although like I've had my run-ins with the law because of not being straight with my license or speeding or anything like that. But even if your stuff is clean, you see a cop pull up behind you, it's just automatic nervousness. Like, oh boy, I hope they drive around me, or oh boy, what happened now, or just a lot.
That right there alone is why I have always, my dad, my husband, you, any other important male in my life, y'all leave the door, y'all go somewhere, especially if you're traveling or something like that. It's just in me. You're black men. After a certain hour, living in the South, just trying to live your life, literally just trying to live your life in the South, it's
Hmm.
open game for y'all. It's not, it is just what it is. And there's just an ingrained worry that comes along with that and just wanting to know that you guys are all right. So I wish that wasn't something for me to do. Like, you should be able to step your foot outside the house and just be who you are. Be free to be who you are. Live your life, go shopping, run errands, have a good time, go be casual, social, whatever, and come back home in one piece, nothing missing, nothing broken, undisturbed by the law, unharassed by the law. No, because your tail light was out or because your signal wasn't working or whatever the case was. License and registration and all this harassment. Y'all got 51 questions just to be harassing you, all because of the color of your skin. I'm tired
Hmm.
of it. Tired of it. It shouldn't be that way. So
Ever.
when I watched, whoever's watching this, Depton, if you haven't, Antebellum, have you watched that movie?
Mm-mm.
Woo! That's all I can say. That's all I can say.
I
Wow.
don't know if I want to see that.
You do. You do. The
Okay.
end is beautiful. Beautiful.
Okay. I'm gonna
There
take your word for
there
it.
are definitely more highlighted great inspiring parts to the movie than there are bad. But the bad, it'd be like, damn. Damn. It's one of those that make you think. That was an excellent film. Excellent. But it brings back the whole recurrent theme that we had to live through in 2020. Like, who do y'all think y'all are to think that you can tell us we're not worthy to just live life, period, on these grounds, on this soil? We built this country. How about that?
Right.
So I have the inherent right to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, 40 acres, the mule, the daiquiri, the estate, the Rolls Royce, all that comes with it. I sure do. I sure damn do because I work hard. I
Hmm.
work hard. I fed y'all kids off my tit. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that I think about. We fed y'all babies,
Right.
taught y'all babies, washed their asses, things like that. But you treat me like shit. I don't like that stuff. Like,
Listen, we watched a movie yesterday called Miss Rainey's Black Bottom,
yes, yes. I haven't
and
seen
just
the
one
newest one,
thing,
but the story, I know the story. Yes.
one thing that happened in the movie that it was a few things that was going on in the movie that had me like, ugh,
Mm-hmm.
ugh.
Mm-hmm.
But this one part, um, Chadwick Boseman is in the movie. Rest in peace to him. He was trying to get a song recorded, and the guy told him, there was a white man told him that he wanted him to write some songs, and he would have him to record it. So when it was time for it to be recorded, the white man had heard the songs, or he had some of his people play the songs, but he came back to Chadwick and told him, um, that the songs weren't gonna go over with the people, or they weren't gonna sell. But he would take the songs off his hands at $5 a song. Soon as I heard that part, I knew where it was going.
I knew. You see me. I know where this is going.
I knew where it was going. I was like, oh, he's about to flip that and make it into his own thing. He sure enough had an entire band, like almost an orchestra, horns, guitars, everything, playing the same songs that he told Chadwick wasn't going to go over with the people. And that's how the movie went off. And I was so
Yeah,
pissed. I was like, this is what has been going on forever.
for ages, for so many decades, they have hookwinked us so many times. It should be illegal. Yeah, it's sickening.
Just
Yeah,
make you
those
feel
are,
bad about something that you create, but then take that creation and make money off of it.
they pimped
That's
us
madness.
for sure. They pimped our talents for sure. For sure. Absolutely. What were some, let's see, it's going down the list. Let's get back to the best. Now, some of us actually, we got to witness the best and worst of people getting through hardships and challenges. Quarantine wasn't that fun for some people that had to be with each other, while others made the best of it and turned a new leaf or turned a corner and began to move forward in a positive direction. I think going back to some of pop culture's celebrities like Cardi B and Offset, Neo and his wife Crystal Smith, Ray J and Princess. Are they well, they on again, off again? Do we know if they're together right now or not? I think
I have
they're like
no clue. I only know about Cardi B and Offset.
yeah. So they're going strong. I'm happy for them, especially being as
Yeah,
young as they are. I'm glad that they're giving each other a fair shot. It's
yeah, I'm happy
when
for
you
them.
don't let the outside noise get into your
That's
situation.
what that's what wore them out.
In and you focus on each other, you be real with one another because your story is your story. It don't have to look like this one's. It don't have to look like that one's. You guys should only have your own. You have your own language. You have your own way of resolve. As long as you listening to each other, you lay it all out. Your journey is your journey. Y'all business, y'all business. But when Cardi B get on the internet and she go talking, which is just her personality, and it comes with that territory because she's young. We talked about that with Depth and I'm sorry with Desmond and Kirby. When you young and you have that much success, you're bound to certain failures or certain type of circumstances, especially in that industry. But there are some things you just don't have to go through if you just keep your mouth shut. There was a quote that I saw this year. It said, "Hush until you heal." Period. Because when them wounds is fresh and you in your feelings, and you ain't feeling the person that hurt you, or they look like they could hurt you, or something, it smell like a duck, sound like a duck, quack like a duck, you want to rail off. No, hush until you heal. Let that wound heal. Give yourself some time to breathe. Go in your corner, he go in his corner. And y'all come together, cool, heads prevail, y'all have your conversation, but it's y'all at the forefront. Not the yippity yap and the Cardi B fans and the Offset this, whoever. Don't matter. Because at the end of the day, you're not married to them. They're not in your bed. They're not in your house eating your food or sitting on your couch. It's you and your spouse or you and your life partner. So I'm glad to see them going strong. Ray J and Princess, they're another one. I don't admire at all the fact that Princess, as far as I've known, has always been very much into social media. She airs everything out Ray J does. The one thing you're supposed to do as a partner, you cover that person. You rebuke them in private. You have your situation. You deal with them. You tell them, what needs to be corrected, and you tell them how wrong they are. Absolutely. But you don't go out and air their dirty laundry to the public. You leave them uncovered like that. That's not nice. Have a
That's just
conversation with
ignorant.
him, not us.
Right,
That's your
right.
business. Talk to him.
Because all
So
people gonna do is put their opinions on it, and then, well, that's pretty much what she's looking for, other people's opinions, so she can now go off that opinion, and it's not even her own, and she don't even realize it at the end of the day. Like, you've taken all these opinions and made your opinion based off what other people have thought of the situation. They're not in the situation. They're not dealing with the day to day. They don't, like you said, they're not married to you. They're not sleeping in the same bed. They're not living life from day to day with you, and none of that. And you just putting it out there so you can get an opinion. That's totally ignorant for anybody to do. Like,
yeah,
even if it's not on social media, if you just hitting up your friends, just looking for them to, or what their input is, friends and family, like, that's a slippery slope.
mm-hmm.
Because I feel like when you get with somebody, y'all establish things between each other that's not even supposed to be shared with other people. That's very dangerous, and that causes major friction that will last for years. That's for you and that person to work out. You, that person, and God, if God is involved.
Yeah,
If you have God involved,
yeah,
y'all supposed to be able to come to it. It's just like when you're dating somebody, you have all these plans, all these ideas, all these thoughts, all these how you want life to be, but then you go ahead and include somebody because you're mad at your significant other. You're mad in that moment. You're mad, so you looking for somebody to say what you want to hear at that moment. They don't reach out to that other person anymore. Like when we first started, you were cool with them.
Mm-hmm.
You were happy for the relationship to happen.
Yep.
But now that I've gotten mad at my significant other, and I brought you into it, now you form this opinion about that, and then you don't change. When I get into a better place with this person, you don't change.
Now, looking
It,
back, you have the marriage come together, you do the ceremony, you invite people, you have your family there, you have your wedding party. Some of us in our culture, we forget and we lose sight of that whole ceremonial thing where it's when the rubber meets the road and those couples actually do meet some hard times or have hard conversations, or they're at odds with one another and they can't get along, or they can't have a whole conversation without somebody, getting offensive or getting offended. Those people were there when those situations come. They are there to say, look, we're not going to pick sides. We're not going to just take your side or take the other person's side. No, you guys are one. We want you to make it. Admit you're wrong or fault. Have y'all come together, Jesus moment. Have y'all private conversation. But the families and the friends and the colleagues that are there, they're there to lift the both of you, not take sides and add to the dissension of the situation and make the ordeal worse and bring division. We lose sight of that sometimes. And that's why you have these things like, oh, so-and-so called for divorce, or this person filed for separation. You're adding on to that if you continue to cater to the one person that's confiding in you in the situation and just vying for their side of the situation, and you're just this is you're right, you're this, you deserve. No, it's like, what can the both of you work out? How can this be sorted out? For better, for worse. Can you meet eye to eye? Is there any type of common ground? Can we get back to the centers of what made you two come together and come to some common ground? Because y'all got to fight through this. This is not just some old high school tit for tat. He made me mad, so I want a new boyfriend this week, or she did this, or she wore the wrong PSUs, so I want a new chick this week. She looked finer than her. It's not like that. You're dealing with grown people and whole families. So when I see stuff like that, I'm glad for like Neo and Crystal, who were able to, work things out, have therapy and mend fences and get to the better side of things. Ray J has been about his family, but I think he got to the point where he's like, Princess is all into the fanfare of just me, I. And I can see that. Honestly, just seeing how she's acting. I think he got to a point where he just got tired of fighting, or he's like just taking a break from fighting and just, now he still loves her to death. I know that about him, but it'll take the both of them to just be committed to the fight. Khloe and Tristan Thompson, Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson.
mm-hmm.
That one's tricky. Not just
Yeah.
because they're like single parties and they're not married, but I don't know. I don't know. That whole Kardashian clan is just, that's an episode in itself.
Yeah, that. No,
But
I
for
don't want to
those who were
touch
able
that.
to get their peace, however they got their peace in 2020, kudos to you. They say more money, more problems. Dr. Dre and his wife.
Yeah, that's
A lot of money on the table. She really showed who she was, though, and I was very disappointed in that she was fighting to have so many coins per month. Like, lady, what do you do for a living? No shade, because I don't know the lady from a can of paint, but it became just all about the money. Like, I didn't like.
and it makes it seem like she plotted that. Like if it ever came to it that they weren't gonna continue, she was gonna get what she can get out of it.
It's like she was betting on making good, right? Yeah.
She was gonna make good either way, whether she stayed in it or she got out of it. Gonna make get over like a fat rat. That you get promotions at work when you're exceeding people's expectations.
Hmm.
So it's the same thing in relationships. Like you can only get to a better place with that significant other when you're going above and beyond every day.
Hmm.
You're making them a priority in your life, a real priority, and not just a talking up priority. Like you just saying it just to say it or because it sounds good.
Hmm.
You really actually have to do that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's all been a learning experience, and hopefully, those people have learned something that was positive, not just negative. Hopefully, there's more positive out of the situation for everybody than good. Definitely. That's the whole recurring theme of 2020. If no one catches anything else from listening to parts 1 and 2, we have definitely been learning a lot about ourselves, unlearning stuff, and just learning to just be our best selves. So that you have to peel back those layers and be comfortable with being uncomfortable a lot. That's definitely been a part of the process. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable until you get comfortable again, but don't miss the lessons, pretty much.
Hmm.
With the best that happened over everything going viral and virtual, did you have any? So I know you and the kids had a few good days playing around with TikTok. Did you have any favorite TikTok challenges that went viral or trended that you?
Yeah, when we first moved into this house that we're in now, me and the kids, uh, we were in the kitchen and they were doing some kind of, I can't remember the name of the TikTok, but we did the one that everybody do, the baby come give me something. We did
Oh,
that when everybody come in, do that thing, and then we
yeah,
did another one that a lot of people like liked and laughed at and um, commented on, the one when you do this thing and that. I don't
yeah,
know. We did
yeah.
that one. And that was fun. Um, yeah, those were the two. My kids stay on TikTok.
Do they really?
My daughter doesn't have a TikTok because she's too young for that, but my son has one and she's always on there with him. They learn all the dances and there's so many dances. Like
It's so many. It's a whole
my,
catalog.
my kids learn them in a day, and then tomorrow they'll learn 5 more dances. My daughter did. She when we did the hot cocoa last week, um, a song came on, and my daughter did the dance. My daughter did the dance to it, and I was sitting there. I ended up having to ask her. I'm like, um, where and when did you learn that dance? I'm like, we're in the house together every day.
Right.
When does this happen? That you have this time to learn this dance? Because I know you got to go through it at least 2 or 3 times, but it's like they see it, and I guess it's the same thing as when we were growing up. Whatever
Yeah.
we were learning back then, we were
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
learning constantly, and they're younger, so they're picking it up with ease.
Yeah.
But yeah, my
Yeah. They
son is
had
with TikTok.
easier access to everything than we did. Like we had video music box and all that stuff. We play the stuff back when we used to tape stuff and record it and play it back later on in the VHS.
Mhm.
But now, yeah, they got TikTok,
It wasn't as instant as it is now.
Pinterest, Instagram, Vimeo, Snapchat.
Mhm.
They could just you can record the screen playback. They got all of that stuff. There's so much access. I think one of my favorites, it's always the voices for me because I'm the actress in the bunch. It's always the voices for me. So when I see stuff go back and forth,
Mhm.
some of my favorite movie scenes have been done. I've seen those go viral on TikTok. Shout out to Regina Carter. She did a couple skits over the summer. She did some from like Set It Off. I think she did
Mhm.
Coming to America. Those were funny. And then Sofia Vergara, I'm gonna do one. You'll see it later on this week. One of my reels. She cracked me up because you got a whole closet full of all this stuff. You did not get to go anywhere this year, so that's what my next reel is gonna be dedicated to. That's hilarious. So those have
Mhm.
been the funnier TikToks, and there were definitely some. There's some dance choreographers that I have admired for years. They got to show behind the scenes of some of the big events that they got to participate either at the top of the year or years prior. They got to show some of the choreography. Oh my gosh. Remember American Best Dance Crew used to come on MTV?
Mhm.
Used to
That's how we got the Jabberwockies.
show. Oh yes. Yes. That type of stuff I miss. So it was good to go through TikTok and see those type of things. Who are some of your like favorite funny people that you come across maybe? Because a lot of people that had under the radar talent have really come out and shined a lot this year.
Country Wayne. And we just saw him on a commercial the other day.
Yeah.
Is it a tax commercial? Something.
Mm-hmm.
He's on a commercial, and to watch him from where he started to where he is now, like,
yeah,
it's Big Ja on Facebook.
What's his name?
Big Ja, BIGGJAH. Yeah, if you look him up on Facebook, he got a plethora of videos now, and he put a lot of other. I think he put a lot of people on, or they're just on the same platform. Like everybody's with him. Like you got a whole crew. But yeah, Country Wayne is the main one, main comedian.
He is definitely broke out. Him and Jess hilarious. She's a nut.
Yeah, her too.
B Simone. Yeah, all of my favorites from like Wildin' Out.
Wildin' Out.
Because that used to be Max and my Friday night, Saturday, jamming on Wildin' Out. Because B Simone would crack us up.
Mm-hmm.
Country Wayne would be Emmanuel. Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Him, DC Young Fly.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the other
guy? Schuler King. Am I saying it right?
Yeah. With the eyes.
Yes.
Yes.
He's a good one. He is a good one because he's just honest. That's the other guy from Wild Out. Zoe. I am Zoe.
Yeah. I'm Zoe. Yeah. Him.
That
whole DC Young Fly. They got their own comedic group.
They do. But what's the name of the other guy with the glasses?
That's who I was gonna say.
Chico Bean.
Chico Bean.
He's like that cousin that got like that slick, straight face humor. That's why I like him because he just naturally funny. I love him. Yeah. There are a couple that have just taken off and gotten really, really creative with the quarantine and didn't let it just, stop their creative flow. Also with creatives and actors and comedians, we also had a lot of good shows go back on Netflix, and their whole seasons have been available for us to live through nostalgia, like Family Matters, Sister, like all the TGIF. Remember TGIF on Fridays on ABC? A lot of those. Have you binged on any of them or get to watch any of the shows that you used to watch?
Nah, they're not interested right now. That ain't their thing. But me and Netflix, I usually just binge watch a bunch of action stuff. That's how, I've always liked action movies or comedies, but I've been more into action lately. Just watched Soul last night. If you're looking for one certain thing to happen, like it start off one way and you're not expecting it to just completely flip like that, you're not gonna.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. But otherwise, Junior has seen it like, this is probably his 6th time. He just started it before we started this session. Yeah.
Yikes.
He was the very first one to air it on Christmas morning when it first became available on Disney Plus. He didn't wait for us to get up. He watched the whole thing. By the time we got up and was opening gifts, he's like, "Yeah, I watched Soul. It's really, really good." I said, "Oh, okay, fine."
My boy was not waiting for nobody.
No one. When it comes to films, he is a jock already at almost 9. He loves a good movie. Yep. So, what other highlights do you have for us?
This is a quick one.
Yeah.
The Murder Hornets. I felt like that was a scare tactic to a certain degree, like,
of course,
because they're not here anymore. Like I was telling you earlier, we had 2 hornets over here that I killed, and 2. One was in the front yard, and then one was in the backyard. I killed both of them. As soon as I seen it, because I be trying to wear them out. Every time I see them, whether it be a fly, a wasp, a bee, you know how those queen bees in front of your house in the summertime, they be hovering.
Yeah.
I was outside just this summer, and I do it every summer. I was outside with one of the kids' shovels, just swatting them, just bang, hitting them like baseballs out the park. And my kids were cracking up. So the hornet, I don't know if it was a murder hornet. I'm not even going to say that it was, because I don't know that. I know it was a hornet though. It was huge.
Right.
I smacked it down and it was still alive. That's the first thing. Then I took my son's scooter and rolled over it and it was still alive.
Oh,
Like I had to press down in the scooter to crush it. And the shell was so hard, like the one in the front and the back. I'm just like, yeah, I can't be messing with these. But I feel like that was definitely a scare tactic, because like I said, we don't hear nothing about it no more. That's just like the locusts that were in what was that, Africa?
Yep.
I saw that picture and I was like, nah.
But it did seem like every quarter when we will come up and rise on the next quarter of the year, it felt like it was the level up in Jumanji. Like,
yeah.
What's the next adventure y'all gonna take us on, or what's the next scare tactic? Like,
2020 has just been Jumanji the entire year. Like, but yeah.
We're supposed to not say Happy New Year at midnight. We're supposed to say Jumanji,
so we can get out of it.
Yes.
Man, let's see. It was the murder hornets. Then I commend the NBA for the bubble. That was the safest sporting event the entire year. Didn't hear nothing about nobody getting no COVID at all.
Agreed.
They kept that thing intact the whole time.
Agreed.
That's very commendable, because you look at baseball, they were getting cases every week. Football, cases every week.
Yep.
Any other sport, every other sport, they were contracting viruses left and right. But the NBA had that thing. They had that thing intact.
They did.
And I appreciated it because we got to watch it.
Yeah.
Like once it started, there was no interruptions. We didn't get no delays, except for when the guy got shot in Milwaukee.
Right.
And then they shut down for that day. Like they protested. That was a good gesture.
They had
very good. Yeah, that was very good on their behalf, and it made it enjoyable for me. How they broadcasted each game, because there was nobody in the stands. And when you listen to some of the interviews the players were doing, they were talking about how there was no crowd noise at all. We heard the crowd noise because they were broadcasting it that way for us to get the full experience. But there was nothing. Like all you heard was sneakers and how it is on a real basketball court. Like if I go out and play basketball with friends or whatever, all we hear is sneakers and a bunch of trash talk and cussing and laughing and all of that. That's all you hear, and that's all they were hearing. So it made the experience good. And even now that the NBA is back, they still don't have no crowds, but they're in their own arenas, which is good. So yeah, that was it.
I'm proud of them too. Agreed. What else was there? What you got?
Okay, so on Netflix, there's a movie called The Crown. Not a movie, but a series called The Crown. And it talks about the royal family, and it's about Queen Elizabeth when she was growing up.
Okay.
And how her father was the king and how she became the queen and all of that stuff. And just watching that, I understand why Harry and Meghan left.
Okay.
It's a lot of pressure to be part of the royal family.
I can imagine.
It's a lot of pomp and circumstance. It's a lot of protocol. It's a lot of politics. It's a lot of everything. And I believe that they just wanted to be with each other and away from all of that stuff, away from all the media scrutiny, all the family scrutiny, all the years of what their family has gone through, and the tragedy with Diana, the issues with Prince Charles, the issues with Harry's brother, the Queen, all of these things. And they're very young. So and Harry I think he was smart to find Megan, who wasn't part of that whole sect or that whole circle.
Yep.
She was somebody from outside of that, completely outside of that, on the other side of the world. And I feel like it helped him to make the decision to leave the royal family. And it's cool. Like, we don't look at it as nothing. They still have things that they think about. They're mad that he left, and they're more mad with her. And that's another thing about family. The support that they should be giving you, you're trying to make your own way in life
Listen.
with a partner. You're trying
Yep.
to make your own way in life. When they're helping you do something, they expect you to do it one way.
Yep.
Like, you have to do it the way that they expect.
Yep.
Because if you
They're
do it your
normal.
own way, now they don't want to give you the support no more.
That I'm glad you said that. I'm happy for Harry and Meghan. They have peace, because if I'm telling you, if Harry wasn't adamant, put his foot down that they were going to forge their own path, and they were about defining and changing the trajectory of what their tradition of family legacy is, and start a new legacy between Meghan, and what's the baby's name? Archie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He left that all behind. He had enough guts and courage to do that, because I'm pretty sure had he get caved in and just said, no, this is our way, they probably wouldn't be together. They wouldn't.
Nope.
They wouldn't. She'd have walked, because it was like
She'd have had to, because I don't think that they were very accepting of her from the beginning.
they weren't. They made it very difficult for her, and you could tell in that
Yeah.
one interview right after she had Archie. It's like, I don't know no other way but to be myself and be honest and be just transparent. Like, no, this is. I mean, this is hard. I just had a whole human with a whole new family, and no, y'all did not make this easy for me. That whole ceremony, though, if we can go back to that, that was beautiful. I
Yeah,
know that
that thing is that, you got to watch the show. You got to watch that
I've
show,
heard so
because
many things about it. Yeah, I need to take the time and watch a few episodes of it. How many seasons is it now?
I don't know how many seasons, but I'm on like episode 10.
Okay, okay.
But I saw some things that we picked up in this country, and it's like, oh, that's where we got that from. Like,
Mm,
our bishops, when they wear the robes
yes,
and the crowns, and have
it's like a staff.
the staff
Yeah,
and all that. We got that from them.
all is it? Yeah, all that ornate stuff.
All of that stuff, all
Tradition.
that pomp and circumstance.
We got
That
from them. So yeah, we got all that pomp and circumstance from across the pond. But that I know that's a part of their culture. Megan is just
Mhm.
like, listen, I love this man. I will defend what our love and honor between the both of us means, and that we have a child now. It's either we're gonna live out our lives for them, or we're gonna live out our lives for us. Pick the two. And Harry was definitely smart and played his cards right and did the right thing, and making an exit. So I'm with you. I commend them both, and from what it seems like, they have peace and they're doing pretty well.
you
So
don't hear
yeah,
you don't hear nothing about them like that now that they've been here.
nope. And I think they were apprehensive, like, oh, she's from America. She's in film and entertainment. That's all she wants to do. She Nope. She real low key.
Mm-mm.
She's really low key. Those were some really good points, good and bad. It is what it is. If you've come to the end of this episode, guess what? You're just like us. You win. The win is in the bag. You came to the end of a brutal, long year. That is 2020. It will go down in the books, but you will go down in the books as a survivor. You get to tell the story. So that was a good review. Now that we are in 2021, what would you say is your to go as you have exited 2020? Well, what are some of your to goes that you're taking with you? Have taken with you?
More awareness of life in general, of everything, like just being aware, just being more aware and more present.
Yeah.
More present. I I've enjoyed this family time, and I want more of it.
Mm-hmm.
So if this staying home thing is going to be our way of living, I'm with it. Just honestly speaking, if I could just be around my family all day,
Mhm.
I'm outside of doing anything else, I'm with that. I'm with that plan. But I guess that's just how life goes. Certain things you have to learn a certain way so that you can appreciate it more later on, and you can do better by it. Um, we all wish that we had it all had things all in line from the beginning, but it's just not how life happens sometimes. I'm grateful for the things that I've learned, and I plan on these things turning a lot of things turning around for me for the better.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I got.
that's awesome. I commend you for that. I think I'm pretty much on the same wavelength. It's weird because the whole 2020, I just felt like the recurring theme, even though it was a long, tumultuous year with a lot of lows, there were a lot of highs, like we said. There were a lot of great things to pull from it. And if you didn't, then you missed it. You can replay 1 and 2 of these episodes. You can read Time Magazine, whatever you need to do. But with everything said, I'm with you where I know the core of who I am, my purpose, and there's nothing that will blight that for me, cause me to lose my focus. My vision is crystal clear. Forget what I see or have seen. I know what I know about myself, about my family, about what's for us, what the vision and drive is, and how to stay motivated to push that vision. That's for me, number one. Number two, as a culture, I shall never take for granted who we are, how great we are. I love being black, and I love our people. Not the one population of us that we give a certain like nickname to that just act the fool all the time. But as a
Hmm.
whole, black people are beautiful. We're gifted. We're driven. We're intelligent. We're empowering, and it takes, like we were covering in part 1, Beyonce, Black is King, those type of things. When I hear the music and when I see the visuals and when I do go into those type of things, it just makes me reminiscent of who I am. Even in my blood, I wouldn't have had to been alive 400 years ago. But Depth, and I know, when you see certain things or you feel certain things, it's almost like it's in you. It taps something in you. You can't help it. It's just in you. So getting back into the root of who I truly am at heart, all of my roots, my culture, developing new practices and new mindsets and getting rid of the old, and like I said, peeling back the layers and unlearning things that were unnecessary or unhealthy or detrimental to the path that I'm forging for myself and for my family. That has been great. Thank you for helping me build Chip Chatter and Chill. This has been amazing. This has been enlightening, empowering, inspiring. It has been one great ride that I am not getting off of anytime soon.
Hmm.
Acting has definitely been reigniting in me. I've come up with so many creative outlets through it. I've been my most creative self that I have been in probably 7 years. I am even more
Wow.
creative than I was 7. Yeah, and I'm okay with that because it took me going through everything that I went through to get this creative here and to hear what's for me now. I couldn't hear it before, but I hear it and I see it now. I know what I'm supposed to do with the gifts and talents that God has given me, and I will die empty. No time soon, but I will die empty. So I've discovered and cultivated the gifts in my children. I'm not about molding them, I'm about unfolding them and just letting them be who they are, accepting them and cheering them on. No one else will ever be their bigger cheerleader than I will be. As for yourself, I'm so proud of you, Dustin. Thank you for just giving of your time and your creativity and your comedy and your ingenious ideas and your introspect. I love what we have created together here. It's been a joy. This has been a
Same
real,
here.
real joy. And
Same.
even though this is just the first season and we had a couple episodes in our bag, that just lets me know each round goes higher and higher with this show and the elements that we bring to it. The chemistry has been amazing. So I'm thankful for all of that. I'm thankful for all the good food from this year. I'm thankful for even like just being covered from the threat of, health and circumstance and danger, being covered from that, and my family and everybody connected to me being covered from that. Even though there have been some people we had to say goodbye to, unfortunately, even through that, thank you for the lessons through that. Don't take life for granted. Don't take not one breath for granted. Everyone here listening under the sound of my voice, you have a gift, you have a purpose, you have a talent. Use it. Don't let nobody cloud it. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. You matter. Your gift matters. Die empty. Read a book. Go to a class there. I have attended so many free webinars this year. I attended so many classes this year. I have like 8 classes recorded to my phone. I learned so much this year for free. Otherwise, if 2020 went a different way, I'm talking about $500 each. Probably by the day. These conferences and seminars would have probably cost about $500 to attend in person. I got them for free.
That's so
and
crazy.
I have learned so much, and I have been able to use it and see results from it. So if 2020 went any other way, I wouldn't have got as much as I did. So the gag is I got so much. So I'm grateful to be able to implement that and look forward to 2021 and just go full steam ahead and show what I have learned and let everybody attached to me benefit from that however they can. So with that said, it's just been one heck of a ride. Thank you for riding it with me. And I'm just excited for what's to come. I'm not going to call 2020 a whole wash. We're not going to do that because it wasn't.
It wasn't.
We got the lessons we needed to learn. Our families have been protected. We have bonded closer. We're strengthening in business and in creative outlets. We're just going full steam ahead with a lot of things. There's so much laid out for us, and I'm just excited about all of the opportunities and the epic memories and the conversations to be had and the feedback that we get from Chip Chat and Chill. Thank you, everybody, for your feedback. Thank you for your emails. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your shares. We appreciate it. We look forward to more and more. Season 1 has been a blast. Season 2, you don't want to miss it. So stay tuned. Do you have any last words, Depton?
No, I'm just enjoying the ride. Thank you for a seat in the car. I appreciate that. I'm gonna ride it out with you. Ride it out with you. I appreciate you more than I can express. I really do. I'm here. I'm here for you. I'm here with you to ride this thing out and make it into something very big. So thank you very much.
My pleasure. I'm just being obedient. I'm looking forward to the absolute best. So we full. That's a wrap. Thank you, Chip Chat and Chill. Thank you for coming out and just enjoying yourself, learning and unlearning and going through things. Also, as always, I hope you all remember you're not alone. You're not the black sheep. If you are, so what? There are plenty black sheep on this planet, so you're not the only one. And we're going to go through this together. We're going to learn together. We're going to have fun together. On the way, whatever we learn, you definitely are going to laugh when you hear Chip Chat and Chill. So thanks for the epic memories. Love yourself. Live in power. And then next time, bring some friends to Chip Chat and Chill. To 2021.